The overall goal, of course, we want to make sure that our prices are fair, so we're not getting the short end of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure that it's still fair for our customers.
Right.
But we want to make sure that we are really aware of all the costs. And also bear in mind that this is not like a final set it and forget it process. Welcome to Leaf Notes, the podcast that helps your business take root and grow. I'm Adria Marshall, seasoned business owner and speaker.
And I'm Sydney Mafuka, artist, illustrator, and small business owner.
Join us each week as we take you on a journey through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. We'll dive into everything from social media strategy to protecting your business.
We'll even answer your burning questions such as, do I need a business plan? Should I form an LLC? Where should I promote my business? And so much more.
Together with our guests, we'll break down these topics into actionable steps, helping you build the business of your dreams.
So whether you're just starting or you're looking to scale, we got you covered.
So go grab your notebooks, your favorite beverage, and cozy up to receive practical insights and inspiration here on Leaf Notes. Let's go make your business dreams a reality. Hey, Sydney, good morning.
Good morning.
How do you feel about us being in the same space?
I feel good about
I'm
it.
excited.
I'm excited too.
This is like an evolution.
It's like we're actually having a conversation.
Right?
It doesn't feel like we're just talking to a camera.
I know.
So that's pretty good.
So what are we going to talk about?
Today we're talking about pricing and how to price our things and what to take into consideration, because I feel like there's a lot of things that go into it, and maybe some things that I could potentially be overlooking.
Yeah.
And just, it's really easy to like undersell yourself.
It is easy to undersell you. Like when I first started out, I didn't know what I was doing in a lot of aspects, but pricing in particular, because I simply looked at what my competitors were charging and wanted to charge a little bit less than that. And that's kind of how I set my pricing, which bit me in the butt later, because when I started wholesale, I had to drop my pricing. So then things were all out of whack. So yep. So how are you currently setting your price?
I feel like I do a little bit of what you were saying, which is just like looking at what other people sell their prints or like whatever for. I know I did that when I launched my Tumblr design. I was like, okay, someone's selling them normally sells them for 30. You know, okay, I'll sell mine for 30. That's more than I expected to sell mine for.
Like, ooh,
okay, we're making them big bucks, big money.
Right.
So that's what I do. And then lately, when it comes to more like things like hoodies and things that are more personal based on like my own manufacturers and the hoodies that I pick right now, I sort of come up with the price and I try to double it.
Okay.
I try to make sure I have...
And you're making a profit.
Yeah. So I think that's sort of how I go about it, but that's really like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of research over the past years about this, and I did some research to prepare for this episode too. And I found some nuggets that I am excited and really, so I don't know if I need to change any of mine. My mentor is funny because he did a great job of mapping out what my prices should be on the retail side, on wholesale side, on the Amazon side. He worked all his numbers and I'm just like, okay, great, let's just go with what you said, but never really understood his philosophy. And so I have a lot of tips that I want to share. I think you can use when you're going to, because for the new year, you want to update your pricing, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's talk through some of these, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. All right. Okay. So the first tip that I saw was, obviously, you want to calculate your cost.
Right.
So, and this is called direct pricing, what they call it, direct calculation. That's where you calculate your materials, your labor. Also, which I thought was interesting, is to take into consideration your indirect pricing, right?
What's indirect pricing?
Yep. Rent, utilities, insurance, equipment, advertising. So take all of those into consideration when you're setting your price.
So how would you do that? Like with a big number such as like rent, right? You're not yeah.
Let's keep going, because at the end of this, there's like a good formula, but I want to talk through these aspects first.
Okay.
So that's one aspect, is to consider your direct and your indirect costs. And we're going to get into how to do that exactly. Next is to look at the market, which is what you're doing, which is what I did. And that's kind of all we did at 1st.
Mm-hmm.
This one I thought was great too. Know your customers and your perceived value. How much are they willing to pay? So you know that you aren't just a graphic designer, you're not just an illustrator. You have like this niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your customers are obviously willing to pay a little bit more, because when you did that piece for one customer, I remember you charged her a set price
Mm-hmm.
and she just gave you extra money,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so based on that, you know that your customer, and you know that the amount of money that she gave you in total was less than what she expected to actually have to pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she was still giving herself a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of understand based on that what your perceived value is, right?
Yeah.
So put that in the back of your head. So we're putting guard. Go ahead.
So how do you know? Because so for me, I'm not sure if I should wait till the end,
Go
but
ahead.
for me, I do a variety of different things, right?
Mhm.
I do commissions,
Mhm.
and then I do like hoodies, prints, stuff
Right.
like that. So how do you know with like physical items? I
Yep.
have to do more with like hoodies and
Mhm.
stuff like that, especially because of the world that we live in today.
Right.
How do you know what? How can you
Mhm.
predict something like that? I think with like commissions, right? With
Yep.
that being a custom piece, people are already expecting maybe to pay more,
Right.
right? But with something that they're just like,
Like a hoodie is
mhm,
different.
yeah. So like,
Mhm. I
yeah,
think so. Let's get down to when we get down to the final calculation piece. I think it's going to come out in the wash, but you just let me know
okay,
if it doesn't.
all
But I
right,
think it will.
okay,
All right. So we're going to consider direct costs, indirect costs, market, what your customers are willing to pay, your perceived value. So we got those nuggets. Now consider the time involved, and all this can play a part. So in a nutshell, the more time you spend, the more it should cost, right? Then come up with a fair profit margin. Your profit margin should be between 10 to 20%. Okay?
okay, got it.
Between 10 to, I suggest 15 for you, but this is what I
So
thought.
can you define a profit margin?
Yep. So after you finish, it's basically how much money you should make at the end of the day.
Okay.
So, like, say, and my math is a little wonky, but say that after everything is said and done, it costs $60. You should
Mhm.
make $20.
Okay,
You
got
see what I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna say 15% profit margin. I need my whiteboard. So here we go. This is the nutshell. This is what I thought was gold. Maybe it's just me. All right. You basically calculate the number of hours that you plan to work each week. So the number of actual hours that you're gonna work so maybe it's 40. Are you gonna work a solid 40 hours each week, or how many hours a week are you gonna work?
I would let's go with
Go
40.
with 40. All right. So you calculate the number of hours that you're gonna work each week. You think about vacation time, holidays, sick time, all of that. So maybe instead of 8 hours a week, maybe it's 7 hours. I mean, 8 hours a day, maybe it's 7 hours a day. But we can just go with 8 hours right now. All
Mhm.
right. So you figure out a number of hours that you're going to work each week. You subtract your non billable hours, meaning the hours that you spend on answering emails, on doing your general marketing content for social, writing your emails, that you do for your newsletters, things like that. So things you can't bill a customer for.
Mhm.
So maybe out of that 8 hours, maybe 5 are billable. Okay. So whatever. Then you divide your expenses by your billable hours. So you add up all of your expenses. This is what I thought was really cool. So, and I did this for you. I don't know where I put it, but we'll watch you walk through it. So you literally add up, and you do it future basis. Right now you're living with me, but you don't want that to be the case, right? So add up all of your expenses. So what your rent should be. So I think I had in my example, your rent should be $1,200 a month. If you were, and you can, like your student loans, which are ungodly, but how much they're going to be.
Mhm.
So you add up all of those things, then you divide your expenses by your billable hours, and then you multiply your profit margin on top of it. So basically, what you're doing is you're saying, And like after all of that, I think I came up with right around like $80 an hour. I think it's what I came for you. But I may have not had all your expenses in there. And
Okay.
then that's how you come up with your hourly rate. And then you can then use taking into consideration all of these other things we talked about, but most of the time invested. Because then you know that the time that it takes for you to make a hoodie is less than time it takes for you to make one of those curated pieces, right?
Hmm.
And then you just use your billable hours. So I want you to try that and see how that works.
Okay. So how would that be for like physical products? I understand for like prints that are already like made, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. The
So,
piece that
because
you
I
already
don't want to,
have.
I don't imagine for like an 8.5 by 11 print, I'm charging $80 for that, right?
Hmm.
So, like, that works for, I can even see how that works for like a hoodie, right?
So with
Like, if I
that
have to
one,
press it myself, but
yeah,
when it comes to like products I already have on hand,
right. So let's think about that. So that may fall to the category of the equipment, the materials, the boxes, the time it takes for you to box it up, the time it takes because on each shipment you draw on them too. When you think about if once somebody orders a print,
hmm
what do you have to go and do at that point?
usually it depends on the print.
Hmm.
So sometimes I'll have to like go to the print shop and get it
Okay,
printed.
so you should take into consideration how do you get to the print shop?
I take the train.
There you go. So that's your hourly rate. If we were, so yeah, let's walk through the steps of you shipping out a print, and let's just really walk through every single step and let's think about it.
Hmm.
So somebody orders a print, you go take the
Well,
train.
let's think about the size
Okay, go
because
ahead.
there's smaller ones
Okay,
that I can print at home that
okay.
wouldn't, or some that are already packaged because of the markets that I do occasionally that
So,
take
but
like
in
no
most
time.
cases, like so, let's assume that it's a small one that you
Oh,
print at home.
okay.
Small one that you print at home. What do you have to go do?
Print it and then package it up.
So you have the paper already.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the paper. You know about the cost of the paper.
Mhm.
Okay, you have the cost of the paper. Think about the cost of your ink.
Mhm.
Think about the cost of your printer, your equipment cost. Think about the
Mhm.
cost of electricity.
So, should I like when it comes to pricing the prints
Hmm.
and when I calculate all of those costs,
Hmm.
right? Do I calculate that per pack of paper that I use?
Yep, you can divide that by the number of sheets of the paper that are
Okay.
that's in there.
So that way, yeah.
Also, however you get those delivered, that's Amazon.
Oh, you mean like USPS, UPS,
So
like
all those costs.
I know what you mean. Amazon for delivering
Yep,
the
for
paper.
delivering the paper,
Okay.
right? Any shipping costs. Like I said, ink, because ink is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So let's assume we have that number. Then the process is you have to print it, right? Then then what do you do after that? You have to buy the box to ship it
Um,
in or packaging.
yeah, so like the mailers that I
Hmm.
use, they're like non-foldable photo kind of
Okay,
mailers.
get that. Then you decorate them, right? Or do you
Hmm.
not do that?
I do, but I like to do that as like I don't know. I guess should I calculate that into my
Hmm.
price because it's just more of like a fun thing that I do.
You're a business person, okay?
Okay.
And I think let's put a pin in that right there. I think I know because a small business owner takes so much pride in what they do, and it is an art form, and we all feel that way. For the most of us feel that way,
Mm-hmm.
and that can lead to us getting being taken advantage of because we throw in a lot of extra things, but it costs time and the time that we spend writing those decorating those packages
Mm-hmm.
is time that we could spend doing other things that make us money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that should go into your hourly cost. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this. How much do you usually charge for a small print?
So for the 8.5 by 11 ones, I charge like I think they're 30. Yeah, I charge
Okay.
30. And then I charge for my 4 by
Hmm.
6s, I charge 10, but they're significantly smaller, you
Okay,
know.
that's fine. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so bearing all those things into consideration, and so we haven't even got to the shipping part yet. So you buy the tubes.
Mm-hmm.
You do you have a lot of those tubes on hand? Do you have to go and get those?
Well, the envelopes or the tubes, because
Well,
I do have tubes in like you know what I mean? Like the larger prints, obviously those cost more because I have to pay for shipping tubes for
Yeah.
those. But I have all these things on hand
Got it.
currently.
So envelopes, you have us on hand. So
Yeah.
just a matter of packaging them up.
Yeah.
Um, then after you decorate it, then what do you do?
Then I ship it out.
Okay, so you go into your shipping system,
Yeah.
right? You print the label.
Mhm.
So calculate ink, calculate paper or the labels,
Okay.
tape.
Okay.
Okay. You schedule a pickup for USPS
Or I just drop it off.
or you drop it off.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, and you communicate with the customer to let them know that it's been shipped.
Yeah, I use Shippo. I can just send them an
Perfect.
email through them.
Perfect. Okay, so I think it's just a matter of walking through methodically through the steps for each size because each size is going to be different.
Yeah.
And then just use that to cross check what you're currently charging.
Yeah.
And then what I want you to do is do the expense exercise first to come up with your cost per hour. So that way, when you find out, okay, for the 4x6 print, it's taking me this amount of time. For the 8x whatever,
Yeah.
it's taking this time. For the large one, it's taking this time. Then you add the materials, you add up your time, you get all that together, and you see what you are charging.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I get worried because the $88 an hour sounds like a lot, When I think about it when it's just like a print order, you know what I mean? It kind of makes me a little nervous because
Well, so we're not just going to we're going to balance it out, right? So let's take that $8 an hour number because it may be different, like for your curated piece. I call them curated piece. What do you call it? For your commissions? It may be different for that. So I wouldn't say we're going to, and that's why we have all of these things to consider. And we're going to balance them out, and your pricing will change over time. How you choose to price things will change over time, but at least we're taking all these things into consideration.
Yeah.
So we're going to come up with a base number, and then we're going to compare to the market, right? So we're balancing it all out. So when we come back and talk about this, you'll be able to say, okay, for the 4x6, I added up all of these things. I didn't put as much weight on my hourly cost.
Okay.
And then maybe for the commission pieces, maybe I threw in some things I didn't charge as much for this, and this, but I put more weight on the hourly cost.
Okay.
But at least you have these items that you're going to consider. So you're not going to be blindsided by anything like, oh, shoot, I should have thought about my indirect costs. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a list of things: direct, indirect, market, hourly rate, time invested, profit margin. You're going to have all those things in the forefront. So you're not going to forget about them. And then you're going to be thoughtful when you choose the price rather than how we're doing it now, which is just by looking at the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you go about since you have like a whole set of employees, how do you go about keeping like your pouches and your products priced at a reasonable price when you're paying other people?
Yep.
Like, do you just rely on the fact that you have so many orders coming in?
No.
So
I calculate the labor. So I calculate their wage in the cost. So I add up my material. I do remember Waleed did this, even though he has some funky math. Shout out to Waleed, my mentor. He's amazing. Then we calculate the labor involved, right? Time it takes to make each product, to pump it, to package it.
And do you do this by since people's labor won't did you measure how many pouches that someone can pump in an hour? And that's how you got okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
So we said about one person makes this many batches.
Got it.
On average. This is about how many orders somebody can ship in a certain time.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So it's an estimate.
Yeah.
And then we came up with that number and we added on to the end. And then Waleed did the profit margin, and I have a different profit margin for direct to customer, for B2B, and for Amazon. So 3 different profit margins. So I know that D2C, I have the largest profit margin. On Amazon, I have a second. Wholesale, I have the last.
Okay.
So that's how we divide it up.
Okay.
It's in a spreadsheet, and it is beautiful. And it's great. And so we have exercise on that note every year. We are, and it's about time for me to call that meeting. We're going to review pricing because cost of everything changes.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because up until we did our first, this is our second price increase. The first price increase I was still making stuff up, but we took into consideration wholesale then.
Okay.
That was the first time I took that into consideration. But I still wasn't taking into consideration like the cost that it takes for us to ship products to FBA for Amazon. I wasn't taking into consideration that cost. I was shocked when we really drilled down. Shout out to Hannah for really finding all those emails and get all those prices. It was crazy because some of our 16-ounce pouches of products are cheaper than our like per ounce are
Mm-hmm.
cheaper than our 2 ounces
What? Is it because of the
because the cost of
packaging?
the bottles. So
Oh.
we were not calculating the cost of the bottles, the cost of the labels,
Mm-hmm.
the cost of the little seals, and the labor is more to
Mm-hmm.
pump into the 2 ounces, as you know,
Yeah.
than to sit there and pump a 16 ounce.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think like I want to say it's one of our bottles, it's like 50 cents and our pouches are 13 cents. So it's like 3 times more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So those things I mean, I was shocked that a couple of our products are, so we ended up having to raise the price on our samples. We were losing money on our samples because we were pricing them so low. You think it's a sample, but per ounce is more expensive.
That's so interesting. So it's kind of makes me realize like how important it is to like if you want to find the best prices for your customers, sometimes you do have to really search for those materials
And
that
that's what
are
it costs us to do too. Like,
yeah.
wait a minute, we're paying way too much for some of these things. And then so a lot of our products had to some of our products didn't increase in price very much. This was in April when we did the massive price change.
Hmm.
Some of our products didn't increase in price very much at all. And others took a pretty significant jump, which caused some shock to our customers initially. And we should talk about that too, is how do you communicate price increases?
Hmm.
But yeah, so some of ours really jumped up and some of the wholesale ones did. It was all over the place, but I felt confident for once in how we were pricing because we
Hmm.
really considered a lot of things that we had not before. Let's talk about messaging to your customers. You want to talk about that?
Sure.
Let's talk about that because for us, I was really proud of how we did it.
Hmm.
It's never perfect, and customers don't like prices to be increased, but most of
Yeah.
ours understood. The way that we did it, which I thought was really, really smart. Of course, give them a heads up. Like your loyal customers, you want to be capturing their emails, right? And we over communicated. We communicated, I want to say either 30 or 60 days in advance.
Hmm.
We let them know it was coming. One thing that was really great, I think, is that because we have a subscription program, we let them know that if you join a subscription, your price will not change.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our loyal customers, they knew hop on a subscription, prices remain the same. You guys are special. We don't want to increases for you.
Right.
And that helped us too because now we have more recurring customers, so we can better predict. We can better budget.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, and we planned out. We had a whole communication plan for our direct customers and our wholesale customers. We gave them a heads up too, that because a lot of them base their prices on our retail prices.
Hmm.
So we gave them a heads up, letting them know that our retail prices are going to change to this, our wholesale prices are going to change to this. They could go ahead and plan for it.
Hmm.
And then what we did, because Amazon is a blessing and a curse, Amazon, number one, charges a lot of fees to be in FBA. Amazon, number two, frowns upon finding lower prices elsewhere on the internet.
It's like you're making less by having your stuff up on there.
It is, yeah, that's a whole nother podcast
Yeah.
right there. But anyhow, what we did just to make things simple is that we made our retail price, the direct to customer price on our website, match our Amazon FBA price. So we took into consideration the fees for each product there, but our subscription price is significantly lower.
Cheaper.
And then the existing customers' subscription price is even lower than that because they could lock that in also. So a whole spreadsheet, lots of thoughtfulness and calculation. I'm sure it's still not perfect, but it is a lot better than what it was. And like you said, it costs us to change our sourcing. We're like it costs us to buy a lot of our oils in bulk for sure. So we have like a lot of those oils in drums now because the cost of getting oils in drums like half the cost of getting them in the pails that we were getting them in.
Right.
And a lot more sustainable too, which was a bonus. Yeah. So it was a great exercise. This is a perfect time for you to do this too.
So the plan is for me to go through for each product that I do to go through and see what the costs are.
I would just start out with your hourly rate. So start out by writing out all of your expenses. And this is gonna be so freeing. I love the budget. This is gonna be so freeing. So and this is about time for you to do your budgeting too, right?
Yeah.
And this might be a good time too for you to get everything in Mint. Do you use Mint.com?
No, what's Mint?
Mint is basically a free tool that lets you put in all of your expenses, like all of your credit cards, all of your bills, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can kind of track all your money, see where all your money's going.
Okay.
And categorize everything.
Cool.
It's a great opportunity to do that. You should do that on the business side and your personal side.
Okay.
I can help you with that. That's awesome. So calculate all of your expenses to come up with your, and then you add on you multiply your profit margin, and then you come up with your hourly rate. Bam. So that's your first step.
Okay.
Then your second step is to go through each one of your product offerings and write down things that you're going to consider. And then write down your direct and your indirect costs.
Okay.
For each one.
Direct and indirect.
So indirect rent.
Oh, like, okay.
Rent, utilities, blah, blah. And I can help you calculate those.
Yeah, because
in a future state.
Okay. Yeah. Because I guess I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around a singular product, how to calculate that into like rent and stuff like that. Like, should I have like a predicted amount that I expect to sell of each thing? Does that make sense? Like, how do you do that?
What do you mean exactly?
So like, let's say rent's 1,200. How do I calculate a print? How do I know that someone's gonna purchase?
No. So you're just calculating. So you're going to get your hourly cost based on that.
Okay.
Right. You're going to get your hourly cost based on that. And then you're going to factor in, like for instance, if you find out that the true cost of creating a print is 4 hours.
Okay.
But you're only charging $20, for example.
Right.
Then that's way too low.
Right. Okay.
For example.
Right.
So we're just going to factor all those things in.
Yeah. I feel like this stuff is going to make me more like self-aware for sure. Because then maybe I'm like, maybe I should do this faster or put like less.
Maybe you should do it faster, or maybe instead of buying like a little pack of paper, I'm just guessing, maybe for some prints, maybe you can find some bulk supplies.
Right.
Like, it will cost you because you're going to consider the market value also. So you don't want to be charging, you don't want to add up everything and be like, according to this, I should be charging $100 for a 4x6 print.
Right.
So then you say, where can I trim down? Like what is the market value? So you're aware of that. Okay, the market value is around $30, right? Okay. But my actual cost is $200. Where can I trim? Instead of buying this pack of paper on Amazon, which I love the quality, instead of buying this pack of paper on Amazon, which ends up being 50 cents a sheet, let me see if I can find it in bulk where it's 10 cents a sheet. So you're going to see where you can trim down some things. And I see, because that's what we had to do too. What is the lowest that I can actually get this to? And then make sure you're considering your 15% profit margin also.
Okay.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
At a high level.
Yeah.
As you go through it, it'll make more sense. But you're right. The overall goal, of course, we want to make sure that our prices are fair, so we're not getting the short end of the stick. We want to make sure that it's still fair for our customers.
Right.
But we want to make sure that we are really aware of all the costs. And I think that's going to be the eye-opening piece. And also bear in mind that this is not like a final set it and forget it process. You continue to reevaluate. It is not uncommon for prices to change 2 to 3 times a year.
Yeah.
What is uncommon, which we want to exceed at, two things that are uncommon: for people to actually know what things are costing, two, to communicate well to your customers. So that is what we're going to really excel at. We're going to excel at being self-aware about what things are costing, and we're going to excel at communicating any price increases to our customers to where there's no sticker shock. Like, we actually had customers that they didn't thank us for increasing the prices, but they thanked us for letting them know. And they said that they understood with the way, because with the supply chain costs, transportation costs, they said they completely, they hated it, but they liked that we let them know. They liked that we gave them the opportunity to lock it in, and they understood.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we're going for, because no one likes to pay more.
Yeah, and transparency is definitely key.
Transparency is key. Even if you don't like the message, it's better than not having the message.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, and also I think it's the matter of like, I know like when you first started your business, it was about definitely comparing it to other brands on the market and trying to be like affordable.
Right.
But then also given your mission, unfortunately, just like Whole Foods costs more than Walmart. You know what I mean? For a reason, right? It probably costs them a lot more to source goods that are more quality and
sustainable
and more sustainable. So same thing for your products. You're definitely more of a Whole Foods business. And I think it does come down to like knowing your worth and knowing your place, right? Like, do I, and so I think that's also something I need to evaluate for myself. Yeah, because I'm like, do I want to, I mean, I love selling prints at like an affordable price, you know, but given the amount of time and effort I put on my work, is that going to, am I getting the shorter end of the stick, and am I really giving myself the treatment that I deserve? Or am I feeding into that starving artist trope just because I want people to have my art in their homes?
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, like what you mentioned with the commission I had, where someone willingly tipped me a significant amount of money, was that like if they value your work and value what you do and value your products, right? Like most people are going to pay for it. So so yeah, I think this is going to be a really cool, eye-opening experience.
It's going to be. I'm excited for you. I'm excited because it's time for me to do mine as well, so we can do it together. And so don't be shocked, because at first our orders dropped. But you know what was beautiful? Our profit margin rose. So although we had fewer orders, we were making a little bit more money. And because we had fewer orders, my labor costs went down. The quality, I felt, went up, because we weren't just like running, making all these products. I mean, we were still, making a lot of products. But you're more thoughtful. Your team isn't overstressed, overrun, underpaid, fewer mistakes in shipping, gives me a little bit more free time and buffer, and we were still making a little bit more than we were making before.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that too, like just to see how it goes. I think what worries me is that like it's not like I have I'm not like my business has yet reached its like peak where I'm getting orders even every single day.
Right.
So sometimes I guess because I get a little bit nervous, but really I don't have much to lose.
Right. Like, now it's the perfect time for you to do this.
Yeah. So
and we will find a way to support your existing customers, and it'll be your newer customers that are more affected by it, and they don't know anyways, right? And because we're going to consider the the market value, the prices are still going to be, somewhat in line with that. So it's not going to be a ridiculous amount more than what they would expect to pay. And then also your reviews are great, your community is great, which will help to support their decision in making that purchase.
Right.
I mean, we've definitely benefited from this. And being and what's great is that, some of our retailers reached out and they were concerned. But me being able to stand on the math, like I know exactly how much everything costs,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to take a loss, because we don't want price. I mean, none of us want prices to increase,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to take a loss when I know for a fact this is how much a box costs.
Yeah.
This is how much tape costs. This is how much flaxseed costs. This is how much electricity costs.
So how do you calculate things like tape? You know,
It's
like
by
how do you know how many,
it's Here's what I will say. You are guessing.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not exact, but better to have some number there than
Than
no number
none.
there.
Yeah.
Because we know it's not free.
Yeah.
We know it's not free. So when you go to buy your tape online,
Mm-hmm.
or when you go to steal yours from my company,
Oh man. How much do you pay for your tape?
we can look online and see how much it costs a yard or foot or whatever, and then you can estimate, I'm using a couple of feet.
Okay.
So you calculate 12 cents,
Because I've
whatever
had
it
the
is.
same role for a while, I
Well,
will say.
that's great, but
Yeah.
eventually, so maybe I should calculate your tape cost. Every month, Sydney's taking in a roll of tape from me or whatever.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Cool.
Cool.
You feel good about it?
I have butterflies, but I'm excited because I've been really wanting to like what you mentioned about the pricing and not work almost like having not stressing as much and working as hard. Like I feel like that's gonna be really good for my commissions in particular because I think like a common thing is like artists, for some reason we sell ourselves short.
Yeah.
So my goal for next year is to be able to have my prices at a point where like I could do like because I do a couple commissions a month, so I would like to be able to just do like a one commission a month because the demand has gotten higher for commissions from me. So I would like to do one of those and be able to sustain myself and like do whatever other passion projects that I want to do. You know what I mean? So
imagine how freeing that would be.
It'll be so freeing.
And imagine like we already know how great your work is, but imagine how much you could pour into that one commission.
Yeah.
If
or even just like more like personal projects. Cause like what I've had to do towards the end of this year is like put a lot of like my passion projects and personal stuff on the back burner to, make money and stuff.
Right.
So it'll be really nice to be able to have the best of both worlds.
Right. So exciting.
So exciting. Yay! So I guess we'll be back with some numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we are about to go ahead and calculate our expenses and figure out how much I should be charging per hour. Okay, so I calculated my yearly expenses. This includes what I'm already paying and what I expect to pay in the future whenever I live on my own. And I came up with the yearly amount of $73,692. That's how much I am spending to live my life. Then Mom and I came up with this 1480 number here, which stands for the amount of hours I work per year, including like sick time and vacation time. And this is with me working 40 hours a week. And I divided 73,692 by 1480 and got 49.79. Then I multiplied the 49.79 by 20%, which is my profit margin, and got 9.958. So then I added the 49.79 plus 9.958 and got 59.748 right here. So this is going to be the amount that I charge for my hourly rate. I actually ended up rounding this up to $60 an hour, which is insane. But yeah, I think this exercise was super cool. It was really cool to look at my finances as well and to know what it takes to live the life that I would love to live and to sort of figure out what my worth is. So super exciting. Now I guess the next step is to break all of my products down to see what I really should be charging. So now that I calculated my hourly rate, Mom is gonna help me break down each of my items into how much I should be charging, including like materials, hours spent, and Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, so let's get to it. Okay, so what I've done is I sectioned out each thing that I offer in my shop, including commissions, and I made sections for where I can put how many hours it takes me to complete something and the materials that I need and their costs for completing the project or item or what have you. All right, so as you can see, I wrote down all of the expenses, including tape right here. And I came up with, for my stickers, the material expenses is $170 for 25 sheets. So that's about $6 and some change for one sheet. So my medium prints were pretty cheap to make, actually, with the glossy paper being about $3 to make and the matte paper being about $2.61 to make. Then with my large prints, I factored in the different finishes that you can choose from and the different sizes that I have for my larger prints, and also the tube price. And 18 by 24 matte would be $19.85. 18 by 24 glossy is $29.83. 10 by 20 matte is $17.83, and 10 by 20 glossy is $27.83 for material costs. I did the same thing over here with my small prints, which are pretty cheap to make, with it being $1.41 to make each print. And for my hoodies, I factored in how much each hoodie transfer costs, how much the hoodie costs itself, the shipping costs for both these to come to me before I put everything together, the tags that I add onto each one, the box, the thank you note, the heat transfer tape that I use, and then the regular tape that I use to pack. With this all coming to a $46.10 material costs. Over here, we have commissions, and since this is very relative, I was thinking of doing a $60 per hour, and then all these factors will count if someone wants their piece delivered to them. With a 50-cent mailer cost, tube cost is $2.50 actually. Tape being relative between 25 cents and 50 cents depending on what size print they get. Thank you card being roughly 8 cents, or actually it's 0.08 cents, and shipping just depends on location. Then finally, we have the tumbler design with my material costs all totaling up to $6.15 for the material for tumblers. So yeah, now I guess it's time to see if how these hours will factor in, which I will need Mom's help for, but I'm feeling super good about this. Yay. We're in the car together. And we were talking about sticker pricing because after doing some calculation, we realized I should be charging $9 for my bigger stickers.
And you're currently charging $4.
Yeah.
So what's happening is that she's not charging for her labor costs and the material costs. She's charging an arbitrary cost.
And so what I decided to ask was, because I want to keep
the market value cost, the perceived market value cost is what you're charging.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to ask, because I felt like $9 for a sticker is kind of steep. Mm-hmm. So I figured, would that be cheaper if I were to outsource them? Because that takes away the labor costs, and the more that I order, the less they are to from like Sticker Giant or whatever.
So you have a couple of levers that you can pull. You can actually three. Number one, you can find cheaper labor. Number two, you can do it faster. Number three, you can find cheaper materials. So I bet that if you were to look hard, you could find that same sticker paper in bulk for a lot cheaper. Mm-hmm. That's one option. Another option, like you're saying, is to outsource it. And then another option, like right now you're saying that what you do is you cut all four at once. You can look at your processes to see, is there anything that you can do within your processes to reduce it? Mm-hmm. So I would say probably a combination of the three is what you should do. We had to do the same thing when we analyzed our costs, and that's when we started to get a lot of our materials in drums, because it saved us about 40%. All right, so let's talk about how your pricing exercise went. Tell
Yeah.
us about it.
So I feel like the pricing exercise was really eye-opening.
Hmm.
I think I was definitely undercharging for a few things, and I think the most eye-opening part was doing the sticker pricing and
Yeah.
realizing that me making stickers by hand was way more expensive, and either, well, first of all, outsourcing would be the best option,
Hmm.
but also, if I were to still make them, really looking at the cost of materials because I didn't realize how expensive my sticker paper was.
Right.
So I it's really interesting because I would always pay. I think I was always feeling like I was paying less because the price maybe was less, right? Like maybe I
Hmm.
wasn't getting like 50 sheets or 100 sheets or 200 sheets. So I was like, "Oh, I'm paying like not that much." But then when you realize that like the more you actually get, the cheaper per sheet it
Yeah.
is, and how that can contribute to your profit and stuff like that, it was really eye opening for me.
Yeah. So what was great was that we talked about this a little bit during the vlog portion of things, but there were three levers that we could pull, right? So either raising your prices, we could do that. We could reduce the labor, or we could reduce the material costs. And what I liked about it is that depending on the scenario, like um, for the for the stickers, for instance,
Mhm.
that was the case where I believe we just reduced your labor by outsourcing it. I think that was the main thing that we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Hmm.
then everything is because the sticker was really all
It
labor.
was all labor because you
Yeah.
already had the design.
Yeah.
And there was one instance where we reduced your material costs and your labor by getting the branded boxes, right?
Yeah, that
So,
and that was really cool because it will look even more professional than just
right.
drawing on them by hand.
Yeah.
So,
And and that's a really good example of too where, I talk about there was somebody who asked me a question about something that I waited too long to do. And I said I waited too long to get an assistant
mhm.
because I was spending my time on doing tasks that weren't in my field of expertise, right? So you're doing
Mhm.
these little bitty tasks that are important and valuable, but not the most valuable use of my time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same goes for you when you were drawing on your boxes. Like,
Yeah, like drawing on my boxes, cutting the stickers
hmm,
myself, because even like I know that if I outsource my stickers or
hmm,
even do the boxes or envelopes and stuff, they'll still have that personal touch, but
right.
it'll be a lot cleaner
Yep.
and a lot more consistent and way faster to
Yep.
get orders out. And then also knowing that I'll be able to make more money on top of that is really cool
Right.
as well. And then it helped me because like I'm keep using the sticker as an example because I feel like it's the most prime example
Hmm.
in this exercise.
Yeah.
But I charged $4 for my stickers because I saw other people doing it, but I didn't really take into account what conditions they're what is making them charge that much.
Hmm.
And when we were doing the math and seeing, okay, if we outsource it, it's 90 cents per sticker,
Right.
which means that $4 is a suitable, it still allows them to have a suitable profit.
Right.
Well, for me, I'm like, okay, I just want to be where everybody else is, but I'm not
Yeah.
working as smart as everyone else is.
Right. And so that was one of the things we talked about last time too, was there are several things to consider. So the market value was one thing to consider, but that was like all you were considering was market
Yeah.
value. So
Hmm.
you should consider your market value, the labor, which is your price per hour, and you went into that in the blog and how you determined that,
Hmm.
as well as the material cost. So looking at all three of those helps you determine the best price. Whereas if you just look at one of those, like you could just like if you think about it, you can if you were to just look at the material cost for the stickers, you would be undercharging
Yeah.
actually. So you
Yeah.
can't disregard the market value, which is $4,
Hmm.
right? Because if you were just looking at the material cost, then maybe you would say you only have to charge $1.50, but
Yeah.
that's not appropriate either. So you really have to look at all three of those to help you
Hmm.
come up with the best price.
Yeah, for sure.
What I would like to do, if it's okay with you, is to go through each one of those and kind
Hmm.
of say, in this example, I adjusted this thing or these two things, and then just to kind of give everybody an idea of the adjustments that you made.
So with what we were talking about with stickers, I had a $6.80 material cost for
Mhm.
stickers, which is already higher than what I'm charged. That's per sheet
Yeah.
though. But yeah, so that was per sheet. And
And so per each individual sticker, it ended up being like $1.75, I think.
it's something around that, right? Um, and then my time, well, it was hard to get my actual time for how long I worked on it
Yeah.
because it was like I normally do all of my stickers at once.
Hmm.
So we kept playing around with the time from
Yeah.
being 1 hour to 30 minutes to
Right.
maybe 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so that's what I had for stickers. And I don't even think I think when we calculated how much stickers would be, we were in the car.
Yeah.
And you were saying that it needed to be like $10 or something like that,
Yeah.
something crazy. And
Yeah.
I didn't feel comfortable charging that much, which is when we started thinking about, okay, well, how much are my sheets? And
Yeah.
my sticker paper is $2 per sheet, which is a lot
Yeah.
to compare. My printing paper for my prints are like 12 cents per sheet.
Yeah.
So that was already a lot. And then the laminating sheets as well were a lot. They were $3 per sheet. So just really looking at that and then thinking, okay, where can we move things? Where can we
Yeah.
lower some costs? At least if it's materials, can we look at different sticker
Right.
paper? Is there a reason why I'm using this specific one, which
Yeah.
there's not?
Right.
So,
So I
yeah.
remember that was an option before we talked about outsourcing it. Like we could do
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
But then like the silver bullet was when we went, right, well, what we just outsource.
Yeah, and then we went to Sticker Giant
Hmm.
and then we saw that you could get 50 stickers and they would be I think $2
$2
each.
or 100 for like 97.
Yeah, 97 cents.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so that was really cool to pull those different levers because that takes out all of the labor costs
Yeah.
and the material cost
Yeah.
for that. It's just a bigger investment at first.
And it has to make you feel better too, because when you think about somebody ordering a sticker now, you can just put it in the bag, and,
Yeah.
versus, I mean, I would imagine you're like, I gotta do that, I have to cut it, blah, 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 blah. Because that's not something that brings you joy.
Yeah, so for me, it's really interesting. I think the little things do bring me joy.
Hmm.
I don't mind making stickers. I enjoy it because it gives me a chance to just like put on a podcast and just
Yeah.
like cut them. It's not a big deal for me, but it will save me time, which is cool,
Yeah.
you know? I think that's why there's maybe a lot of areas where I could have been charging more or doing different things, but I never thought about doing it because I wasn't necessarily unhappy doing
Right.
the things that
Right.
I'm doing. Like I like drawing on the boxes and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Uh, I I have no complaints, but I also have been realizing through this exercise that time is money
Yeah.
in a way, even as corny as and funny as it sounds. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Okay.
will be nice to be able to just plop them in the bag.
Agreed. Okay, cool. On to the next one.
The next one I did was my 18 by 20, 8.5 by 11 prints.
It's early, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I came out with my costs for glossy paper being $3.01 per sheet, and my matte paper being $2.61 per sheet.
Hmm.
So that was a lot better than the sticker paper. I think we came in hot with the stickers, so this was
Yeah.
a lot more room to make a profit, which is
Hmm.
really cool. And I was already charging $30,
Yeah,
but
so it's pretty close.
yeah, so when we factored in my labor and what else did we factor in? My
I
labor?
think it was the boxes. The main thing in that one was the packaging, right? So
Hmm.
not having to spend the time again drawing on the boxes, but
Yeah.
being able to reduce the material costs and reduce your labor. Well, I guess it's increasing the material costs, but reducing your labor.
Hmm.
And you know what? The cool thing is too. So I imagine when you were calculating your material costs, you factored in the cost of the boxes as well.
Hmm.
So you can subtract that now.
Yeah, I could subtract the whole. I think it's $1 per
$1 per
box.
box.
Oh no, it was 50 cents per
Okay.
mailer.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
And we looked at Vistaprint for these mailers, right? And like I said, with Vistaprint, the cool thing is they're always run some kind of promo, so
mhm.
you'll be able to get it even cheaper.
Yeah, it's cool because, like, I know I probably should say this for the end, but it's really cool because a lot of the options I didn't think were options for me.
Hmm.
I thought, oh, you need to have like a lot of money to
Mhm.
have custom boxes, and to even the idea of outsourcing stickers, outsourcing a lot of things was
Mhm.
like, I thought I thought that it was
It'll be more
above,
expensive.
yeah,
Yeah.
above me right now for where I
Yeah.
am. So to see that like that was possible in Vistaprint to get custom mailers and it
Yeah.
wasn't an arm and a leg
Mhm.
was really cool to see, because I can really elevate my brand in that way.
For sure. And what's great to see, so I really appreciated how both Sticker Giant and Vistaprint had a reasonable minimum order. That was
Yeah,
great. So the barrier for entry is really low, and then as you continue to grow, you can order more. The price just continues to drop.
draw.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So
Yeah.
I guess if any of you guys are trying to look into custom packaging or outsourcing things, like it's not as scary as it may seem like it
For
is.
sure. Okay, cool. What was the next one?
So the next one was my larger prints, which were a bit more expensive, but
Mhm.
as they should be, I think. So I came up with my 18 by 24 matte paper being $19.88 worth of costs of packing,
Mhm.
shipping, printing,
Mhm. The material cost. Yeah.
material costs. 18 by 24-inch glossy was 29.83. 10 by 20 matte was 17.83, and 10 by 20 glossy was 27.83.
Mhm.
And what we came up with for our prices, including labor and stuff like that, was 18 by 24 matte would be 83, roughly $83. 18 by 24 glossy would be roughly $95. 10 by 20 glossy, $93, and 10 by 20 matte, $81. And I was definitely undercharging a lot.
Mhm.
I think this one really showed me how much I've been eating my own costs,
Yeah.
which makes me really sad,
Yeah.
you know?
But you know
Um,
what? Better now than never, right?
yeah, for sure. It was really eye opening because I could have been making 20 to 30 more dollars
Yeah.
on my art.
Yeah.
So
And then when you looked at the market value of the new price, it's in line with the market value, right?
yeah, cause like, it's crazy. Cause when I was looking at other artists that I look up to, their print costs, like their 18 by 24s would be over $100,
Mhm.
for a print. So it's like, it's not, I don't know. It's definitely tricky in the beginning coming up with your prices, but it's
Yeah.
really cool to see that I'm in the right place pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And it's nice thing that there is a systematic way of doing it, so you don't have to guess.
Right.
There's a systematic way of doing it.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I did this when I first started.
It's never too late. And just to give you some consolation, we just did our first meaningful price increase in April, and we've been in business for a long time.
Yeah.
So we did the same thing. I'm like, oh my goodness, I should have been charging more, or just to realize that my profit margin on this particular product is even more than I thought it was. And so
For
going through this
sure.
exercise is really helpful. And just a spoiler alert, you should do this every 6 months
Because prices
because
change.
prices change.
Okay.
So every 6 months, you should take another look at it. All right, go ahead. What's your
Um,
next one?
yeah. Oh, what I was gonna add
Yeah.
to that is that, like, I think in my case, because I'm in my 20s, and I always like what I would do is consider my financial situation and
Mhm.
be like, okay, well, I would want this, but I can't afford it at this price, right?
Yeah.
And really, so I think makes it really shows how important realizing how important it is to detach your emotions from certain
Mhm.
things, and to also realize who your target audience is,
Yeah.
because your target audience is like, art is a luxury thing, like a lot
Mhm.
of things like this are luxury things. And so with that being said, like, it's going to be at a more luxurious price, I
Yeah.
think.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, also really quick, talk about, I'm not sure if you cover this in the blog or how much you did, but talk about the exercise of you adding up all of your expenses to come up with your cost per hour.
Oh
How
yeah.
how's that for you?
It was really eye opening. It made me realize, it made me want to cancel some things.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because there some things that I know I don't really like use very much, or
Mhm.
subscriptions that I have I don't really use.
Mhm.
But it was really cool to at least have a really good transparent look at where my money is going.
Was the price per hour that you came up with, was that a reasonable price per hour,
Oh,
according to your expenses?
yeah, like I think for sure. I
Mhm,
think I couldn't imagine making that much per hour, to be honest. It
mhm,
was one of those things where it was like, wow, that's a lot of to me that was a lot of money. Even though we were talking about, oh, we should raise you should raise your prices to 100 an hour.
mhm,
60 an hour
mhm.
is still really high.
Yeah.
And it was really good because it doing this exercise kind of also showed me how much I deserve
Yep.
for my time, because I think as artists, I think I said this previously in the first part that we often tend to undersell ourselves a
Yeah.
lot because we feel like, oh, we like to do the art. So it's really not that big of a
Right.
deal and not equating work with joy. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I think this was really, really cool because I also think that people would pay that. I think the
Yeah.
quality of my work aligns with
And we were
this.
able to cross check that because once we came up with your $60 an hour, we were able to use that in determining the price for for one of your larger prints.
Hmm.
And that's when we saw that, okay, well, you're already charging, $30. And so you're just raising it up like by $5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that kind of validates that your price per hour is in the right range.
Yeah, I think the only print size that I was struggling with
Mhm.
was my 18 by 24 one.
Okay, let's
Bringing
talk
that
about
up
that.
because that was the one where I brought it up to, like, the glossy ones were 90s,
Yeah,
and the matte ones were 80s. But before, like, it was
like 60 or
yeah,
something.
60.
Were we able, so we end up bringing up that cost because of your labor costs?
I think so,
Mhm.
because my print costs, I mean, obviously for the glossy ones, they were in the 20s. So,
Yeah.
but that's a lot of, and yeah. So,
Weren't we able to reduce that labor cost a little bit too by saying that you
oh
would get
yeah,
those delivered?
yeah.
Because it was going to take you, because so the cost, although we did end up bringing it up a little bit, it was going to be brought up a lot because of your travel costs to go to the print shop.
Hmm.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, I normally commute to the print shop, and because I don't have a car, I take public transportation. And so that would take me like almost it's almost like a day trip to
Yeah.
go there and go back. Um and so at first I was factoring that into my costs, and then mom had the idea of like, can't you just email it to them and have them ship it to you? Because like that shipping cost that
Mhm.
or the cost, like the amount that it costs for them to ship it to you isn't going to be the same amount as your
It's
hourly.
not going to be $60, right?
Yeah. And so I think all of this is just reminding me of like how valuable my time is
Mhm.
and how I could be spending my time doing things that I really want to be doing the most, which is drawing.
Yeah, you don't
And
wanna be spending your time catching the train and going up there. That's not what you wanna do.
yeah, I remember last weekend I was really dreading it,
Yeah,
because I'm like, I could be spending this working on other
it's
projects
gonna
that,
make you money
yeah.
or
So
or bring you joy.
yeah, so not saying that getting things printed doesn't, but,
Yeah,
like, it's a lot of time.
it's a
Maybe if it
lot of
was
time.
down the street, it'd be different,
Right.
right? But it's in Atlanta, and I like the costs of
Mhm.
their stuff, so I don't wanna change that. So,
Right.
getting it shipped to me was a really good option, and it was
Yeah,
crazy how much money I was able to save from
for
doing that.
sure. And I also want to say something else. So when you did end up raising your prices a little bit for that, did you cross-check, the market value?
For these,
Mhm.
well, I kind of already had them like, so I didn't really, that's like looking at other people's stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I already kind of knew
Oh,
from like other people I already looked at previously because their prints were in the
so
hundreds.
you already, so this is an example of that.
Yeah.
And so
So
you're
this was,
still a little bit under that, but
mhm.
this is,
But that could also be because like I have like my print shop again does prints at really good prices.
yeah.
And depending on where people are getting their prints from, it could
Right.
vary,
Right.
right?
And so this makes, so now your prices are more in line with the market.
Yeah. So that
Mhm.
feels really, really, really
Yeah.
good. So the next ones were my small prints.
Mhm.
My small prints, the cost was $1.41 for each print. And so given the amount of time that it'll take me, which is like no time at all to just like print it
Yeah.
and pack it up, we decided to go, I think it was like the price was gonna be $9.46, but I was already charging 10
Yeah.
for that one. So that one was
Of course,
really
keep it the same.
easy.
Mhm.
Yeah. For my hoodies, this one is something that probably kept me awake at night.
Yeah.
Um, so my entire cost for hoodies was $46.10, which means that my costs needed to be between we said $91,
Yeah.
but we said that if I were to order more in bulk,
Mhm.
I could bring it down to
Yeah.
$85. And then I remember when we were talking about it, one of the biggest things was like the cost of my hoodies, because my
Mhm.
hoodies themselves are like they range like they range between 15 and 18, which is why I just left at the highest one,
Yeah.
$18, because that's as much as it gets.
Yeah.
And that's a lot for just a blank. Like, people pay that for hoodies that they wear every day, you
Yes.
know? So, definitely that's something I'm still gonna look into.
I know you can find those hoodies in bulk for a cheaper price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and even if they're, and the thing is, I'm not like, the reason why I like the hoodies I like are because they are eco-conscious,
Mhm.
but I'm sure that there's other ones out there that are eco-conscious
For
for a better
sure.
price.
So for right now, we're gonna raise your prices, but
Mhm.
I bet you'll be able. So the price before this change was around what?
80.
And we raised it to what?
91, and then when I start ordering my transfers in bulk,
Yeah.
bring it down to 85.
So I
So
mean, you're really only raising it $5. But if we can find those hoodies in bulk, which I'm sure you can, then you can probably keep the prices the same.
yeah, I think that'll be good, especially definitely the hoodie part. The I remember us talking about the transfers, and that was something that worries me because like it's not like I have the most busy hoodie
Yeah.
shop. So ordering a lot of
Mhm.
transfers felt like a big commitment.
Yeah.
So I guess that's gonna I have to do a little bit of soul searching for
Yeah.
that one to see
Yeah.
which ones, like, because I know you're mentioning, okay, keep the most popular ones available,
Yeah.
and then just like not have the other designs and stuff like that. So that's something I'm still thinking about too.
Before we make any significant changes, then, or before you go and have to pay more to order those transfers in bulk,
Hmm.
or right, that's what you'll be doing. Let's really take a look at the hoodies and see what we can do.
Yeah,
Because I am sure that you can get those hoodies down to like $5 each, and then that'll save you $13 right there.
yeah, that would be amazing. I think it's also,
We'll still be buying those in bulk, though, Sid. I'm pretty sure.
oh, like the amount of hoodies.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I want to have like 200 hoodies just like laying around, especially if I don't know what people's sizes are and
Right.
stuff. Like, I know, I guess common sizes that people order are like larges,
Yeah.
mediums, extra larges.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of space.
So we have some more work to do there. So if you did not want to order the transfer, so it's easier to order the transfers in bulk because they can go on any size hoodie.
Yeah.
But
The
the
um
rub there is that you're not sure, and you only had to order like, I know it's only, but it's like 15 or 17 of them. Is that about right?
yeah, what I need to happen, I feel like, is I need to feel secure
Hmm.
in the fact that these are going
That
to
they're going to sell.
sell. And I think that's what's holding me back from buying anything in bulk, like
Yeah.
stickers in bulk, all those things. It's like,
Yeah.
am I just going to be left with a whole bunch of
Bunch of
just stickers?
inventory.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've seen that also happen to artists where like, okay, now I'm just giving these away for free
Right.
because like I purchased like 100 of these and no
Yeah.
one bought them. So
Right.
I think that's also scary because you just don't know what's going to be
Mhm.
popular. And have you experienced that for yourself and your products?
Yeah, I mean, when we first started ordering 10,000 pouches, it was daunting. I think what helped us was there's a breaking point, right? And you can determine this as well. Like you are paying, let's say, $17 now for one, right?
Hmm.
And then, or you can buy 15 at $11, which basically means that for every two, you're getting one free, right?
Hmm.
So if you start to think of it like that, then it's like, okay, so instead of buying one individually, by the time I buy six, then I've paid for three right then.
Hmm.
So then you stop getting as scared because you're like, well, I'm going to sell six, so you don't have to think about the whole entire amount,
Yeah.
because it's not really you buying 15 at a time. It's more like you really buying 7 or 8.
That's a good way of,
You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
because like
Because it's the
remember,
same cost.
that's a really good way of looking at it.
Because it's a lot easier for you to think that I'm going to sell 8 than maybe I'm going to sell 15.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's something I'm gonna work through
Yeah.
because I also was thinking like, okay, if I like, I mean, I promote my hoodies a lot online, but what
Mhm.
if I did it more like, let me see how they do at public markets. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what if they do well? I seen clothing do well for other people.
Mhm.
You know, then maybe that'll also help me feel like, okay, even if I don't sell these all just from online sales, I
Right.
know that in public there's all maybe one at least sells
Yeah.
or like, you know, so I
Right.
think just also broadening my
Mhm.
scope a little bit
Yeah.
helps. Um, and yeah, so just something that'll help because I think the pricing for that also made a lot of sense because I remember there was a time where I ordered like 8 neon crane hoodies, right? I
Okay.
mean hoodie blank, not
Mhm.
blanks, but transfers.
Transfers. Yeah.
And it would have made sense to just get 15
Just go at 15 at that
and
point.
I wouldn't have been, if anything, I would probably have been saving more money than I was
Yeah.
losing, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. And you said you sell on average, what, about 6 a month right now?
Yeah.
So,
That's why I'm a little,
yeah, but like in 3 months, then that means that it should pay for itself.
yeah. And a good thing about, like you said, with the transfers is that they don't have to just,
They're not
they're not,
size specific.
yeah. Because the hoodies, that's one that I just have to find a lower price on because those are
Yeah.
size specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And color, right? They're not color specific. Like you can get any style, any size.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And you
just
can just store them, they'll be fine.
yeah, so maybe a couple of action items. Check your metrics and confirm that you're selling about 6 a month or see what that number really is.
Mm-hmm.
Those transfers that you're getting, you get those direct from the manufacturer.
Yeah, from Ninja
Yeah.
transfers. Yeah.
We all know they offer bulk discounts. I'm wondering if there are any other discounts that they offer.
I want to look at their blank discounts and see. I didn't really see much, but
See
I
there.
want to like actually dig and make sure that there's like,
Also, reach out to them for a collaboration.
yeah, I got an affiliate link from them,
Oh,
which was
okay.
good because like a lot of people were asking me because
Hmm.
I was thinking about reaching out to them because I've ordered from them so many times
Yeah,
at this point. But I was like, okay, at least I can have this affiliate link so that when people ask me, they can click the link in my bio and
got it.
yeah,
So that's a good thing. So you earn commission off of them. You also earn commission off yourself, right?
off of myself.
So when you go to order from them, you use your affiliate link.
Oh.
Yes.
Mm.
Hmm. Every time you go to order from them, you use your affiliate link. That way you get paid
I
when
didn't
you order.
I didn't think about
Hmm.
doing that
It's okay.
thing. Mm.
It's all right. Now you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like there's no reason why I can't do
Hmm.
that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all good. This is all good. We're not kicking ourselves because better to learn now than to learn 3 months from now.
Yeah, it's like with yeah, this is really cool. This
Yeah.
is
Awesome.
really awesome.
And it's
Okay.
okay. And it's okay to feel sad for a minute,
Yeah.
but we're going to
Well,
do better.
cuz like, you know, it's here's the thing. I knew I was undercharging, but I think the amount that I was
Yeah.
undercharging really hurts my feelings. I'm like,
And
"Oh my
you
gosh."
did it to yourself, right?
Yeah, like that's
Is that
like
like you not get robbed by somebody else?
yeah. And when I think about all the sales, because I reached like my 100th sale last
Yeah,
week, right? And so when I think about all the sales that I've gotten, how much more money I could have been making, all those times I couldn't have didn't have to be struggling,
struggling.
all the
Yeah,
times I was actually like really going out of pocket for things,
yeah,
like it makes me really sad. But I'm really glad that I know now. So because I
yes,
did go ahead and raise my prices on my website, that's for
man,
sure. I made
yes,
sure that they were accurate now.
right. All good. It's
Yeah.
all good. All good. All right. So we've learned a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. Now are we up to your
Um,
commissions?
yeah,
Oh,
we can do commissions because I was just going through the producty stuff.
okay.
So the Tumblr ones, there's a $6.15 material cost,
Hmm.
and it takes me about 30 minutes to make.
Okay.
So what we came up with for our price was 37.08.
Okay.
And I was charging 30.
So it's pretty. Is it? It's in there.
Yeah.
And where do you get the tumblers from?
I get them from Amazon, but I get them in a pack of 8. And so
You can find those cheaper.
Okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, I could even lower the price
Yep,
more.
you can lower the price more. It even goes to, you can get the same ones probably. Just go to the manufacturer, you'll be able to get it cheaper. As
Yeah.
a Amazon seller, I know that my prices on Amazon are often more expensive than they are if you order straight from us.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna look into
Hmm.
then, because that'll be cool. I think also, again, with all these things, it opened my eyes to like I should not be getting comfy with the materials that I'm
Yeah,
using. Like
there are always
there's
options.
always more to learn and always more
Yes.
options that may even be better than what I
Yep,
was doing. So
for sure.
yeah.
And there's some things that we don't compromise on. That we get our pouches from the same manufacturer because Robert's amazing. Shout out to Robert.
Mhm.
Um, but there are a lot of other materials that, as long as you cross, and some ingredients as well, as long as you're cross checking your documentation, you're testing them out, there's no reason not to make a change.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Okay.
So commissions, we went with the 60 an hour,
Yeah.
and then all the things I wrote down, how much a mailer would be if I were to do that, how much a tube would be, because depending on what size print they order,
Yeah.
it could be shipped in a certain way, and then how much the tape would be, obviously.
Hmm.
These were all relative per one, so I wasn't able to just come up with a
Yeah.
complete material cost, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Because then shipping's a thing, but yeah, but it was cool to just see that, okay, I could be charging 60 an hour, which I
Yeah.
definitely haven't been
And we
doing.
cross-checked this with a commission that you did where
Hmm.
your customer actually paid you more because she knew that
Hmm.
it was worth more.
Yeah,
And that commission you would have been able to charge 1,800, and you feel like that would have been a fair price.
more than fair.
Hmm.
Ugh,
And you only charged her 300, and she
300.
gave you 600.
Ugh, it makes it so sad,
Oh,
guys. Don't do this to yourself. Don't do it. Like, charge your worth, man. Because, like, even now, I just finished a commission that is way cheaper than it should be. Like, a
never
lot of things,
again.
never, and especially because, like, now that people are asking to work with me, like, there's a demand for it, and
Yeah.
I deserve to be comfy, and
Do not
so,
cry.
ugh.
No, do not cry on the
I'm
podcast.
sorry. It makes me sad. Like, charge your worth, man. It's like, I didn't realize that it would make me as emotional as it does, but it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. No,
So,
it's okay, Sydney. This is real life. For
yeah.
real. This is real life. And I've gone through it. Like, dang, I'm losing money on this. No
Yeah.
wonder people are buying this stuff so much.
Right.
Right.
Like, no wonder y'all reaching out to me, asking if I'll do a commission for you.
Right.
The prices are looking good. you know? Like, it's a deal.
Yeah, it's a deal.
So definitely, like, I was even thinking about like putting them back, this inspired me to put my commissions back up sooner, because
Yes.
now I have examples of how much
Yes.
everything would cost. And I'll be like, look, and I'll just see who comes.
Right.
Because yeah, but it just like I have like this vision for like the life I want to live,
Hmm.
and after like some reflecting over the numbers and stuff, it made me realize that that's definitely obtainable, but
Yeah.
I had to nip this in the bud. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because
And
like,
that's so encouraging. And the good thing is too that it wasn't that much work to do. Like, what did we spend? Like maybe 3 hours total?
yeah, like I would say 4 hours, including the time that I
Hmm.
calculated my own
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it didn't even take that much time. It maybe like I needed your help with the math.
Yeah.
Like, whew. But otherwise, like, it didn't take that much time. It was
Mhm.
really eye-opening, and it's something that a method I can continue to reuse for all of my future
Yeah.
products, and know that I'm at least charging a fair price, because yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we can wrap it up here. This is a fantastic episode. I hope it's helpful to all of our viewers and listeners. You guys, key takeaways: know your worth. Make sure that you're looking at all three things. You're looking at the material cost, you're looking at your labor. We've showed tips on how to calculate your labor, and you're looking at the market value also. Just looking at one of those without the other two, you're going to be selling yourself short or not pricing your items the best way that they could be priced. If you guys go through this exercise and have any questions, be sure to pop any questions in the comment section. We would love to chat with you guys about it to see how it worked out for you.
Thank you for listening to Leaf Notes. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and drop a like and a comment letting us know what your takeaway was. And if you're just listening, head over to social media after taking a screenshot and tag us letting us know what your takeaway was. If you want to give us a rating, head over to your favorite podcast app and give us a 5-star rating or let us know what you think. This will help us connect with more business owners and creatives just like you. And with that being said, we hope that your business takes root and grows, and we'll see you next time.